welcome back to another episode of We're Talking About. I am your host, Kaley Gray, and it's just me this week. I've had some amazing guests already this season, but I just really felt to do this one alone. And if you haven't seen today's title of the episode, it's called You're Not Alone This Holiday Season. But first, if you have not subscribed, please be sure to do so and give us a 5-star review and to share this podcast with someone that you think that it would encourage. I love sharing and talking on this podcast, but I couldn't do it without all of you. So thank you so very much. And so you're probably thinking, why talk about You're Not Alone this holiday season? Well, I just know so many people, whether they're in a relationship or they're not, they can feel alone. And you especially feel more alone during the holiday season, which it's coming up faster than we would probably like. But some might say that being alone is an obstacle that they have in their life. And we all have obstacles in our life. Some make them stumbling blocks, while others make them stepping stones. And so we each have that choice to decide what kind of obstacle they're going to be. And I remember a significant moment in my life when I felt alone. And that was when I moved here over 10 years ago. And I knew it was where God had called me to be. And, if you want to hear more about why I moved to Oklahoma or how I knew I was supposed to move, I did an episode on that previously. So I encourage you to go back and check that out. But I was excited to move, but I was also terrified. I just had a couple of friends that I knew. I was going to be leaving all of my friends and my family and my church family in Iowa. And so, I'm sure some of us, we felt alone, whether it was moving to a different city or maybe you have felt alone in your single season. And it says in Isaiah 41:13, "For I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, 'Do not fear, I will help you.'" And when I think back to this quote, we all have obstacles in our life, but some of them make them stumbling blocks while others make them stepping stones. I think of jumping from rock to rock. Now, I've spent a few summers vacationing in South Dakota with my family, and we did a lot of hiking. And we all got ready to hike up 7,000 feet. And when we first got there, I was like, yeah, I got this. This is going to be fun. And we were tracking how fast we were going, and we were going to see if we could beat our record for each mile. And now, some of you are probably gym rats. Maybe you exercise daily. Me, not so much. I do workouts in my living room, and I'm usually taking walks, but that's probably the extent of my, workout routine. So we are hiking up Harney Peak, which I think they've changed the name to it now, but that's what we call it when we're hiking. And there were times throughout our hike that we could jump from rock to rock. Now, there were rocks all around, but what made it difficult was that these rocks were not smooth. They were not like stepping stones that you see people go across so easily when they walk on them. No, these rocks, they had bumps and ridges all over them, and it really kind of made it difficult to stand on the rocks. And so I would kind of consider these rocks an example of stepping stones in our life. Yes, I had to walk across them because it was part of the journey to get to the top. But isn't that how life is? We have these stepping stones and we think they're going to be flat and they're going to be easy to go across. But how many of you know that's not always true? Sometimes in life, we have obstacles and it isn't a straight path to get to where we need to go. And it's sometimes an uneven path and to get to that place we're going. But if you look at those flat stepping stones, they usually have ridges in them. And what makes it difficult is there's usually like water underneath them. But the exciting adventure about life is that you don't have to go through these obstacles alone. I think back to that trip in South Dakota, we pulled off onto the side of the road to see a waterfall. And now we had to climb down the side of the road and we had to cross the creek to get across it. And my little niece, she was probably like 5 or 6 at the time, and she was trying to jump from rock to rock to get across to the other side. But the rocks were slippery and the water was flowing. It was kind of flowing hard. And, she was having a hard time get across. But her grandma went and grabbed her hand and helped her get from one rock to the next. And that is an image that I hold on to because that is exactly what God is doing in our lives. He wants to be a part of your life when you are having a hard time at school, or maybe you're fighting with a family member, or you're having a hard time keeping a job, or you're feeling alone and single. I wanted to interrupt today's episode to talk to you about liquid collagen. Now, I've been taking a type 2 liquid collagen for the past 4 years, and it has had so many benefits to my hair, skin, my gut health, all of the things and more. And so, if you were like me and maybe didn't know a lot about what collagen was, liquid collagen has a 90% absorption rate compared to a powdered collagen. So, if you are interested in getting more information, I have a link below that will give you anywhere from $10 to $25 off your first order. And so if you have more information about liquid collagen, be sure to DM me. I would love to give you all the facts. But now back to today's episode. Or you just don't know what you should be doing with your life. You feel like you're stuck and you're just not able to get to the next rock. But it says in Isaiah 41:13, "For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, 'Do not fear, I will help you.'" I want you to remember that God has a hold of your hand and He is helping you across those obstacles, and He is making them stepping stones. So that hard time that you are having with the bumpy rocks and you're feeling that like you're not going to make it across, it's your choice to choose to make those obstacles into stepping stones. Because like I said, we are all going to have obstacles in our life. Just because we believe in God and we go to church, it doesn't mean that we don't have obstacles in our life. But thankfully, we can call God because it says in Deuteronomy 31:6, He will never leave us nor forsake us. So you might be single, or, maybe you've had friends, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, maybe even your parents or a sibling that leave you. But you will never be alone because you have a God that is always with you. Life can be hard and you need community around you. But you have to know that you have a God that is also with you and He never leaves you. There have been seasons where I have felt alone. I have felt like I didn't fit in with those around me, or everyone was in a different season than I was. And in those moments, that's when I spent extra time with God and I prayed for community to come into my life. And He has always brought like-minded people into my life. In some seasons, it might have been one person. And in other seasons, I have more than I can count on both hands. But that is something that I have really focused on in my single season, is building relationships with my family, with my friends, and finding mentors. Find like-minded people going the same way that you're going. They could be in seasons ahead of you, but you want them so that they're there cheering you along the way. Something I once heard was, our friendships determine the quality and purpose of our life. Life can be fun. Actually, let me rephrase that. Life is fun. God has blessed me with so many amazing friends over the years. And it's always so funny to me that you can just look at someone and be like, I want to be your friend and I want to do life with you. Now, is it easy for me to be 7 hours away from my family? No. Ask my family, who I have called home to multiple times in tears over the years, feeling alone, or there's obstacles that I have to overcome. But never once have I walked alone. And my parents always remind me, because I have somebody holding my hand across those obstacles. When trying to explain to someone what it's like talking to God, I usually say I just talk to God like He's my best friend. I talk to Him like I'm talking to you guys right now. I've even told God, I do not understand why this is happening. Or, you know what? You sure do have a sense of humor. Because how many of you know that our God is funny? He's not just serious. He's fun. And so I want to encourage you that if you don't talk to God every day, talk to Him like you would talk to someone you just met, or how you would talk to your best friend. Because the more that you talk to Him, the deeper your relationship is going to be. I remember years ago becoming roommates with this girl, and we really didn't know each other. We had hung out a few times, kind of past each other, but the more we were around each other, I would ask her questions and I would start learning about the things that she liked and the things she was passionate about. And if we had never talked and gotten to know one another, I don't think we would be close friends and somebody I consider like family. Now, sometimes it takes stepping out of your comfort zone to meet someone or to talk to them. I always joke about this, but one of my really good friends, she DM'd me on Instagram after we had hung out at a mutual friend's wedding and said, I want to be your friend. And you know what? The rest is history. So God has brought just some amazing people in your life, but you need to get to know them. And I'm not saying everyone you meet has to be your best friend, but life is better together. And thankfully, y'all are in this season together right now, and you get to do life together. So during this holiday season, where you might feel like you're alone and you have no one around you, remember you have a God who's on your side, and you probably have people around you just waiting to be friends with you. But I do want to make sure that the people you're surrounding yourself with, they are people that are going to pull you up and not bring you down. Because if they are having a pity party about being single during the holidays, then more than likely they're going to pull you down and you're going to be acting like those that you hang around. And so that's why it's very important to make sure that you have people that you surround yourself with that are going to be encouraging to you and speaking words of life into you in this season. So I just really want to encourage you. I know that all of the holiday events are coming up and you might be invited to them, or maybe there's some that you aren't invited to. But choose today to start looking at this season with positive eyes, knowing that you have a God who is holding your hand, stepping with you each step of the way. And truly take time to enjoy this season because you're not alone. And so I hope that you are encouraged by today's podcast. And be sure to come back every first Tuesday of the month where I release new episodes. And I would love for you to follow me on my social media. But just stay encouraged this holiday season. You're not alone. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.